All right. Wanted to do a live stream right quick since you know, do one in the wee hours. Shit. Decided to do one, go back to work tomorrow, so I'm talk some boxing right quick. So it appears that the fight between Thomas DeLome and Jamal James did some nice ratings. It peaked at 1.2, you know. So that was pretty good, man, for basically a Saturday night fight for some relatively unknown boxers. So that was pretty solid. So, that's a good look for PBC. The fight itself was a good fight, even though Jamal James won decisively. You know how you can have a good fight, but, one guy won decisively. You can clearly tell who was winning the fight. I had Jamal James winning decisively, like basically 11 rounds to one. I just thought Thomas Delome just didn't, he just couldn't do enough to win rounds. Whatever he did best, Jamal James did better. And that's how Jamal James won that fight. So it did some pretty good ratings. So I think 1.2 is extraordinary, basically during the current pandemic. But at the end of the day, it just goes to show you that people was clamoring and they wanted some type of sports. And this is why this is a good look that boxing came back. And I will say this, and this is the honest to God truth. People hear me going off on fighters, hear me going off on promoters, hear me going off on networks, because at the end of the day, I just want the best fights possible made. That's all I'm asking for. And I'm just getting tired of the fans getting screwed over because you got the promoters, you got the networks, you got the fighters themselves that don't want to work together to give the fans the best fights. Everybody acting like prima donnas from all promotional companies. It's just not one company that's going out of their way to make fights. They're all doing it. So, it is what it is. So, I'm gonna talk about a few different things. So, I'm gonna get this out the way right now because I don't want to spend too much time talking about this. So it appears that Ryan Garcia and Luke Campbell have basically came to an agreement. It doesn't look like it's headed for a purse bid because we know they didn't want Eddie Hearn to win that purse bid. So it appears that agreement in principle has been made for Ryan Garcia to fight, you know, to fight Luke Campbell. So how do I see that fight? Well, really ain't tripping off that fight to be honest with you. It's a DAZN fight. That ain't no fight that I gotta see. Now we got David Benavidez who fights this weekend. David Benavidez is successful. Then we get one step closer to talking about him and Caleb Plant having a showdown. That seems to be the fight that a lot of people is really getting amped up for. Him versus Caleb Plant sometime in 2021. Rumor has it that Caleb Plant has already been asking for that fight. But, some things got to happen for that fight to be made available. So we'll see what happens after Saturday night. Will we see Caleb Plant again sometime this year? I heard Caleb Plant may fight again sometime this year. Nothing's official, but I know Caleb Plant is in the gym. He been working out. So we'll see Caleb Plant more than likely sometime in between, maybe the end of the year. You know, it's August right now. You never know. Caleb Plant could show up on a November or December schedule, or he could show up sometime in October. But I hope we see Caleb Plant again. So um, now you have Sean Porter. He got a fight coming up. Not this week, not this coming week, but the next week. He fighting a guy by the name of Sebastian from Formella. Uh, I've seen footage of this dude. Like I said, I don't think he's a serious threat to Sean Porter. Only advantage he have over Sean Porter is the height. Now he's six, almost 6 feet. He's like listed at 5'11", so he's gonna have a height advantage over Sean Porter. But I've seen the dude. I've seen footage of the dude. I don't think he's a big threat to Sean Porter. To be honest with you, I think this is just a another day at the office for Sean Porter. I think Sean Porter will get this dude. I think if worse come to worse, I think Sean will win a lopsided, decision. And then the best case scenario, Sean Porter probably could stop him and try to get him out of there within 5 to 6 rounds. Because, like I said, I looked at footage of this dude. He isn't a big puncher. Out of his 22 fights, he only has 12 knockouts. So he isn't a big puncher, isn't a value puncher. Um, he's on his bicycle a lot. So I just think Sean Porter will beat this dude. And then that'll just put him in line for possibly a rematch with either Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Errol Spence winner. And worst case scenario, depending on what's going on with Manny Pacquiao. The Crawford fight is still on the table for him. He told me that he might pursue that fight if all else fails. So, basically, I think this is a good idea. Sean haven't fought since last September, and I think him taking a tune-up fight before going into a fight, just in case he does get Errol Spence again, because many people believe that Errol Spence will beat Danny Garcia. He's the favorite, and he should be the favorite. Do I think Errol Spence is going to stop Danny Garcia? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't think Errol Spence is going to stop him. I think Errol Spence he'll just outbox Danny Garcia, and he'll use his brute strength to just bully Danny Garcia. And I think Errol Spence will win a comfortable 12th round decision. But it's going to be interesting to see how Errol Spence's reflexes is in this fight. You will see how Errol Spence um, reacts to getting hit. Keep in mind, November will be Errol Spence's first fight in 14 months since the Sean Porter fight. So it's going to be interesting to see how Errol Spence looks. Now, I've seen Errol Spence training and stuff. Errol Spence look a little bit leaner than what he's usually looked in fights. I don't know if that's a good or bad sign, but he looks a lot leaner for this particular fight. I hope Errol Spence isn't weight draining himself, but I think Errol Spence is still going to have enough in his arsenal to beat Danny Garcia. I mean, excuse me. Yeah, he'll still have enough in his arsenal to beat Danny Garcia. And then we'll see what's next for Errol Spence. Um, okay. Now, it appears that the paperwork is getting drawn up for Regis Prograis to basically part ways with Lou DiBella. Now, I will say this much. At least Lou DiBella decided to part ways with Regis Prograis willingly. This didn't end up in court. He didn't end up getting shelved like Andre Ward did, trying to break his contract with Dan Goossum. So and Mikey Garcia with Top Rank. So at least Lou DiBella agreed to let him go. What's up? So that's good for him. So from what I've been hearing, he's headed to PBC. He's headed. Hmm? Earl need to get in there and just box. Don't go in there trying to show out, trying to get a knockout, because sometimes you can get knocked out trying to go for the knockout. Errol Spence need to take whatever Danny Garcia gives him, be patient, just try to win rounds. Try to get some work in. Don't go in there trying to show that the car accident didn't do nothing to you. Go in there, box, play it safe, win rounds, win the fight, move on to the next. Don't go in there talking about you gonna stop Danny Garcia and all that stuff. Just go in there and just do what you need to do. And that's it. And go home. You haven't fought in a year. Okay? You haven't fought in a year. You was in a car accident. You just recently was able to start training like around really May or something. You haven't been cleared to spar. Just play it safe. That's it. That's all you got to do. The hell with trying to impress me. The hell with trying to impress everybody else. Play it safe. You go in there looking for a knockout, you might possibly get knocked out. So just play it safe. You know, you went 12 rounds with Sean Porter. You went 12 rounds with Mikey Garcia. Don't go in there thinking you can knock Danny Garcia out. And you was in a bad car accident. And I mean, for real, just do what you need to do. Now, let me get back to this Regis thing. I will revisit the Errol Spence thing. Now, let me get back to this Regis thing. Now, once Regis parts ways with Lou DiBella, he's supposed to be headed to the PBC. He will take a tune-up fight. If Adrian Broner is successful against Ivan Redcash, and that appears who Adrian Broner is going to be fighting, no indication, no announcement what date that's going to happen, but it's going to happen possibly either late November or early December, or the fight date could be pushed up. Now, depending on how Adrian Broner looks against Ivan Redcash, Regis Prograis will take a tune-up fight, and then afterwards, Adrian Broner and Regis Prograis will have a showdown sometime in 2021. I just want Adrian Broner to just go in there with, I'm not going to say with the eye of the tiger, go in there on a seek and destroy mission and try to go in there and destroy Ivan Redcash. I'm talking about knock him out. Granados is old news. That then came and passed. Granados then since lost to Robert Easter Jr. He got knocked out by Danny Garcia. That's old news. Adrian Broner need to focus on who he's going to fight. Ivan Redcash, beat Ivan Redcash, and then give us a showdown between him and Regis Prograis. That fight got the capability of being a good fight. I mean, Regis is gonna come there to fight, and Adrian Broner, if he decides to let his hands go, if Regis Prograis decide to, Regis Prograis gonna come in there dropping bombs. So it's gonna be a good fight. Well, I mean, like I said, it don't got nothing to do with you being from Chicago. That has nothing to do with Adrian Granados. Like I said, Adrian Granados is old news. Like I said, he lost to Robert Easter Jr. and he got stopped by Danny Garcia. Adrian Broner don't need him right now. That fight came and passed. Adrian Broner got the nod, whether you believe he won or not. It's no need for a Granados rematch. He need to focus on this fight right now. Adrian Granados need to go on Adrian, and then not to mention Adrian Granados lost to Sean Porter. So Adrian Granados then took quite a few L's. The thing is with him versus Adrian Broner got a personality. I think Regis, I already said I would favor Regis in that fight just due to the fact that Adrian Broner won't let his hands go. I watched that Pacquiao fight. It was so much opportunity for Adrian Broner to win that fight. and he just wouldn't take it. Because once again, Pacquiao was missing a lot of punches in that fight. He wasn't landing nothing. Adrian Broner landed a bunch of nice counters. And once again, if you look at the Manny Pacquiao versus Adrian Broner fight, once again, it's a fight where Manny Pacquiao had maybe 2 good rounds, but he beat Adrian Broner just off activity. But he wasn't landing a lot of those punches. Like I said, he had 1 good round. He hurt Adrian Broner, but then Adrian Broner was smart enough to clinch, cover up, and not take the brunt of Manny Pacquiao's you know assault, and basically that was it. Adrian Broner at the point to where, like I said, he talks a good game. And that's the thing. I get hooked. I get hooked listening to Adrian Broner talk, and I will always watch because I always think, is this gonna be the fight where Adrian Broner finally fights to his potential? I mean, before the Marcos Maidana fight, a lot of people had Adrian Broner as a pound for pound fighter until Marcos Maidana got a hold of him, and then that was pretty much the end of the story. I mean, Adrian Broner just never been the same since that fight. I mean, he got dropped. He took a lot of punishment in that fight, and he just never been the same since that fight. It's almost like he gun shy. Well, that's pretty much what I'm saying. Adrian Broner, he gonna get on the podium. He gonna talk a lot of shit. He gonna get you excited. He gonna get you revved up, and then when the bell rings, then you gonna see the real Adrian Broner. As you gonna see the real Adrian Broner, and you just gonna be like, okay, he got us again. He got us again. I think the only thing that's gonna really make us really see that it may be over for Adrian Broner is when he gets stopped in a fight. I think that's gonna be when we really gonna know when Adrian Broner the first time he gets stopped in a fight. That's when we gonna know, okay, it's over. Okay, that's when you gonna know. All right, now we know Adrian Broner is officially done, because as long as he don't get stopped, I think it's gonna keep happening. But like I said, he need to go in there, and it need to be square business with Ivan Redcash. I think everybody then had high hopes for Adrian Broner, but it just seems to. And he a talented fighter, but I don't think he doesn't see the talent that he has. I think Adrian Broner caught up in just a lot of other stuff, from wanting to run the streets to the rap stuff, then just a whole bunch of the other stuff. But the talent is there. Nobody can question Adrian Broner's nobody can question Adrian Broner's talent. It's just that he don't realize how much talent he have. It's sort of like you being like a up and coming singer, and then you see the other people singing, and then you don't realize you can sing just as good as the other people until somebody help bring it out of you. But I don't know at this point, what would it take to bring that dog out of Adrian Broner? I mean, would it take Floyd himself training Adrian Broner? That's what I'm wondering. Would it take Floyd himself? But Floyd got his hands full because Floyd is getting Tank prepped. And from what I see with Tank, Floyd is training Tank to knock Leo Santa Cruz out. Well, never say never. I think if Adrian Broner came to Floyd and Floyd saw that he was serious, Floyd would train him. Adrian Broner is probably 31 now. I think he like 31. Anything is possible. I don't think that's like I don't think that's out the door. I think if Adrian Broner went to Floyd and he was serious, but then at one, the thing is with Adrian Broner, one minute he say Floyd is his big brother, then the next minute he's saying fuck Floyd Mayweather. But Floyd is yeah, he 31, but Floyd is like he really focused on Tank. Cause I mean, he got Tank he got Tank going in there with bad intentions. What's up? Tank is going into that fight to stop Leo Santa Cruz. And I think he is. And he is going to stop. And he is going to stop Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz don't have nothing that can stop Tank. He can't. He's a light puncher. Um, he don't have the defense. He don't have the footwork. Tank is going to Tank looking sharp. Floyd got him focused though. I think Tank gonna come in there. He gonna come in there once Tank land that uppercut. I think it's gonna be curtain for Leo Santa Cruz. But the problem is after this fight, and I'm gonna tell you something. I'm me. I'm gonna go that route. They gonna hate Tank after this fight. When I say it's gonna be a certain group of people, when I tell you what he gonna do to Leo Santa Cruz, they gonna hate Tank. Tank gonna get called all kind of mayates and niggers after that fight. and the thing is with and the thing is with Floyd, and the thing is with Floyd, I don't want to say this, but Floyd is arrogant as hell. He worked with and I like his arrogance. It don't bother me. But the thing is with Floyd worked with Tank and he worked with Devin Haney. Floyd the type of dude, if it's possible, if it's allowed, Floyd the type of dude he'd try to work both corners in the same night. I wouldn't be surprised if Floyd try to be the first dude to work both corners, work Devin Haney and Tank's corner the same in the same fight if they was to ever fight. But I think that Devin Haney might skip Tank. They may not cross paths. Cause I don't think the thing is with Devin is 5'8". So Devin Haney probably could go up at the very least. He could probably go up to Devin Haney could probably at least go up to like 147. I just don't think they gonna cross paths. I just think they not gonna cross paths. I think it's gonna be like the same thing with Tommy Hearns and Mike McCallum because I think at one time Emmanuel Stewart trained both Mike McCallum and Thomas Hearns. So that's why basically a fight never happened. Yeah, Tank is is tiny. Tank is only like 5'4" or something. So I don't think Tank can go up to like too many weight classes. I think 135 is his peak. I think he would be pushing it at 140, and I definitely don't think he could fight at 147. Where Devin Haney, I think Devin Haney could make it up to 147 with ease. I think he can make it to 147. I think I think that'll be his I think that'll be his best weight because probably by the time Devin Haney get up to 147, most of those dudes gonna be gone. Oh, I've been said this fight wasn't worth paying like no I don't even know how much they gonna charge for this fight. I've been said this wasn't a pay-per-view fight. But Steven Espinosa, he already done said that Tank is going back to either Showtime or they gonna try to put him on CBS. I think now, based off what's going on with the pandemic, I think a lot of these networks where they was acting like they was too good to have certain shit on their networks, now they gonna be like, yeah, put that shit back on there. I think CBS gonna be doing will do anything to have people watching their network. So if it means putting Tank back on regular TV, not even premium cable TV, I think that'll work. And I think that's a good idea to put Tank on CBS. I think that's an excellent idea. Now, what's next for Tank after he beats Leo Santa Cruz? Well, we'll just have to see. Could we finally get Ryan Garcia? Would Oscar make that fight? I want y'all to understand something. Oscar De La Hoya is full of shit. Oscar is not going to put his fighters in there with the best. I don't see, even though this fight should happen, if Oscar don't think there's the chance that his guy can win, he not gonna make that fight. Just like Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis, Gerard Boots Ennis. I think Gerard Boots Ennis is gonna beat the living shit out of Virgil Ortiz. I think he gonna beat the hell out of him. I think he gonna stop him. I think he gonna humiliate him. I guarantee you, as that fight gains steam within the next couple of years, Oscar gonna be playing the same game. Oscar gonna be playing the same game. Well, well, that remains to be seen. It's some fights out there for Tank. It's some fights out there for Tank. But at the end of the day, after he gets past Leo Santa Cruz, and depending on what's going on with Lomachenko, what's going on with Ryan Garcia, you gonna have to start like seeing, can you make those fights? I mean, that's real talk. They not. I'm gonna tell you right now. You wasting your time if you think Tank gonna fight Gary Russell Jr. It's just some internal things. It's just some internal things that's going on. Yeah, that fight makes a lot of sense, but I'll just put it to you this way: the powers that be behind the scenes, they don't want to make that fight for Gary Russell Jr. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. That's a fight that made a lot of sense, but you know, just like Gary Russell Jr., he was always that guy that had to play the back. He always had to play the background. If you look at who Gary Russell Jr. then had to fight, you just be like, come on, man. There was, he never got those guys. Um, no, no, somebody else. Nah, you spelled Leonard Ellaby's name right, but nah, it's not him. It- I'm just gonna keep it 100. Floyd is part of the PBC. Floyd do have a fight. Floyd do have a say so on what fights get made, along with Big Al. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you right now. Uh, what didn't happen with Gary Russell Jr. is just a travesty. Well, well, that's what I've been trying to tell y'all. He in the same neighborhood. He live in the apartment building. So, okay, he live in the same apartment building, and he can't get. I mean, he was promised all them fights. Didn't get Abner Mares, didn't get Leo Santa Cruz. It was just, and he was trying to fight all of them. Gary Russell Jr. was trying to fight everybody. But that shit he was saying about Terrence Crawford, I was just like, Gary, just stop it, man. Okay, just dude, please stop it. Okay, just stop it. And then you had people sitting up there acting like that was a fight that could possibly be made. Well, nobody wants to hear the truth. It wouldn't make no difference if Crawford went to PBC or not. Okay, here's the thing. Um, it appears that it appears that Lomachenko and Tiafimo Lopez, the fight is gonna happen. Lomachenko said that he's willing to give up some of his salary to accommodate Tiafimo Lopez. But this is what I was saying about negotiations. That's what you got to do. Everybody used that excuse. Everybody used that excuse. Everybody used that excuse about, oh well, Amir Khan got 6 million and they only offered Danny Garcia three. But I said before, nobody can answer that question. Well, why did Danny Garcia take $1 million? Danny Garcia only got $1 million for Adrian Granados. Danny Garcia should have asked for more money. And nobody can explain to me Danny Garcia is the number one contender for the WBO belt, the belt that Bud holds, but he don't want to fight him. Keith Thurman admitted that there was an offer to fight Bud. He said no. All them dudes said no. So you can't sit up there and say, well, Crawford need to fight people if he can't get people to fight him. Now, I'm glad you brought up Terrence Crawford because I'm gonna talk about Terrence Crawford before I end this stream. Now it's looking like Kell Brook and Bud is possibly gonna fight. They say it's being finalized. You know how I feel about Kell Brook, Mr. Pull out of a fight. Until I actually see Kell Brook sitting sitting at a podium or sitting at a table, announcing this fight, I'll believe it because Kell Brook is very difficult to negotiate with. Now, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear. That's what I'm saying. These dudes could have been calling. What I don't understand, these belt holders, why don't they call Terrence Crawford out? Why Bud got to call everybody out? See, I'm not one of these dudes that feed people bullshit because I have an issue with a dude and all that type of shit. I just keep it 100. Now, this is my thing. I ain't heard none of them dudes call out Bud. Why ain't Keith Thurman? Keith Thurman just recently started to call Bud out, and that's only because Keith Thurman feel like he getting pushed to the back burner. That's what I don't understand. Why don't these others? Why do Bud got to do everything? So I mean, it is what it is. So now, well, we ain't living in the area the era where the best want to fight the best. It's like the most money with the less risk. So if this Bud and I'm keeping it 100 too. I don't want to hear nobody. I'm not talking about this panel that's listening to my stream. I don't want to hear nobody crying. Now keep in mind, anybody that's listening to this live stream, everybody and their mama was bitching and moaning saying, "Oh, Bud, he need to fight Kell Brook. He need to fight Kell Brook. He need to fight Kell Brook." Okay, so when this fight get made, I don't want nobody coming on my channel crying and talking about, oh, he a Errol Spence leftover if Bud like Molly Wop. I don't want to hear no excuses if Bud win this fight. I don't want to hear, oh, well, he's an Errol Spence I don't want to hear none of that shit because I'm not going for that leftover shit. I think that's ridiculous to refer to somebody as a leftover. So I don't want to hear none of that shit. Nobody better not come to my channel talking that shit because you were the ones that said Bud need to fight Kell Brook. And like I said, Kell Brook don't do nothing for Bud. I guarantee people gonna flip the script. They're gonna start saying now. Here's the thing though, if if Kell Brook is gonna be Errol Spence leftover, well then that mean um when Errol Spence fought Kell Brook, he was a Triple G leftover. Which, by the way, that was a fight that they shouldn't have even sanctioned because keep in mind, Kell Brook had no fights at middleweight. Okay, now say what you want to say about Triple G. Kell Brook did have some success with Triple G until Triple G started walking him down. So I don't want to hear nobody better not come on my channel crying about, oh, well, he a arrow spin. Because everybody asked for this fight. You heard everybody saying Bud need to fight somebody. So I don't want to hear nobody coming on my channel talking about, oh man, well, Kill Brook already lost to Errol Spence. Well, you know what? If that's the case, Sean Porter had already lost to Keith Thurman and he'd already lost to Kill Brook. See, people try to pull that, well, look who somebody lost to, or look who somebody fought when it's somebody that they in favor of or somebody that they don't like. So I'm telling you right now, I'm not going for that shit. Nobody better not come on my channel talking that stupid shit. I'm so serious. I better not hear it. People asked for this fight, so now you getting it. You wanted Bud versus Kell Brook. When I said, well, this fight does nothing for Bud. But I promise you, all the excuses gonna be made if Bud take this fight and he beat the hell out of Kell Brook. Well, he was damaged when Errol Spence got a whole double, but people saw that the greatest. People saw that as the greatest fight ever. He had one eye when he fought Errol Spence. So I mean, you can't sit up there and say, "Well, he's damaged and all that kind of stuff." Be, well, like I said before, you can't call him a leftover because, like I said, he already had a loss. All I'm saying is I don't want to hear no excuses because like I said, this is the fight. Y'all wanted him to fight. So we'll see what happens. If Bud beat his ass, I'm giving him full credit. I'm not trying to hear that eye shit. Cause like I said before, he had one eye when he fought when he fought Errol Spence. I think it's stupid when you refer to somebody as a leftover. I mean, sometimes we take comments by Floyd and we just run with it. But I never believed in that leftover shit. I think that's ridiculous to refer to somebody as a leftover. We not talking about some gumbo that your mama cooked and you know what I'm saying, and she put in the refrigerator for people to eat the next day. We talk about an actual fighter. You win some, you lose some. Cause I mean, Conor McGregor then got his ass beaten some MMA fights, and he still get paid millions of dollars. So, nah, they just do that in boxing. That's the problem with that's the only thing I hate with the YouTube era. Thomas Hearns got knocked out a few times, and he kept coming back. He got knocked out by Iran Barkley. He got knocked out by Marvin Hagler. He got knocked out by Sugar Ray Leonard. You know, and people didn't say Thomas Hearns was damaged goods. I mean, for real. And I mean, he got brutally knocked out by Marvin Hagler, and he got brutally knocked out by Iran Barkley. But nobody didn't say, "Oh, Thomas Hearns, he damaged goods. He damaged." That's internet talk. That's the pros and cons with the internet. Nobody wasn't saying, "Oh man, Thomas Hearns is Sugar Ray Leonard leftover and shit." We already know Thomas Hearns had a suspect chin, but he kept coming back. And Thomas Hearns, he knocked out some people because he put Roberto Duran to sleep. That's the problem. That's the internet age that people say somebody is a leftover and all that type of shit. Somebody a leftover, and you ain't never. I mean, most of the time, most of these dudes ain't never fought a day in their life. And I'm talking about literally. And they say somebody is a leftover. You win some, you lose some. But I think that's the problem. I think in boxing, people so fixated on what happened with Floyd that Floyd never lost a fight. So now all these dudes is hesitant to get in the ring with certain fighters and shit. Well, at the end of the day, Floyd was just that good. Now you can make an argument, hey, Floyd dodged a bullet with the first Castillo fight. You can say Floyd dodged a bullet with the Maidana fight. Some people think Floyd dodged a bullet with the Oscar De La Hoya. I don't think he lost to Oscar De La Hoya. I thought he beat Oscar De La Hoya decisively. But still, at the end of the day, that's what a lot of these fighters is trying to duplicate, and I hate that shit. Keep in mind, hey man, I can't tell you, I can't tell you what's going on with Wilder. Wilder just somewhere, just just is some stuff going on behind the scenes with that too. Yeah, he is never the end of the world like when these dudes lose the shit, but that's they just put so much emphasis on it. People gotta understand Floyd beat like 17, Floyd beat like 17 like world champions in a row or something, or former world champions in a row. Everybody, like I keep saying, nobody didn't fought and beat more world champions than Floyd Mayweather. So that's why I laugh when people say he didn't fight nobody. And if you say he didn't fight nobody, you sound stupid, because how Floyd didn't fight nobody when he fought Manny Pacquiao that some people say is actually better than Floyd Mayweather. So that don't make no kind of sense. If you say Floyd don't didn't fight anybody. Keep in mind Oscar De La Hoya was a former pound for pound fighter. So was Manny Pacquiao. So was Sugar Shane Mosley. So was Juan Manuel Marquez. So how the fuck did Floyd didn't fight nobody? I mean, that doesn't make any kind of sense. Then he beat the hell out of Arturo Gatti, for some reason, a dude that everybody loved, who gave us three fights with a nobody by the name of Mickey Ward. So hey, that's why I don't even pay attention when I hear people talk like that, because they don't make no sense. They don't make no sense. If you say Floyd didn't fight nobody, then you saying Manny Pacquiao is a nobody. You saying Oscar De La Hoya is a nobody. You saying Juan Manuel Marquez is a nobody. You saying Sugar Shane Mosley is a nobody. Those are you saying Canelo is a nobody. Those are five future Hall of Famers or current Hall of Famers that Floyd fought and beat. So you not making no sense. He fought an undefeated Ricky Hatton. So yeah, Eric, don't even pay attention to them people when they come talking that Floyd didn't fight anybody. So all you got to do is bring up those five names, and your argument is won. You don't even have to go. You don't even have to talk about Diego Corrales, undefeated Diego Corrales that was knocking out everybody. Diego Corrales at the time was one of the most feared boxers out there, and Floyd massacred him. That was the only fight that I ever thought Floyd was gonna lose, and Floyd massacred him. And by the way, Diego Corrales should be in the Boxing Hall of Fame. If fucking Arturo Gatti is in the Boxing Hall of Fame, who don't have no business being in the Boxing Hall of Fame, and he went on the first ballot. That's gonna be my thing. We need to get Diego Corrales in the Boxing Hall of Fame. So, you know, well, no, yeah, well, I can separate the two, but I'm just saying when you hear these idiots say that shit, I just laugh at them. Like I said, Diego Corrales was one of the most feared fighters out there. That dude was knocking out everybody. He was knocking out everybody. Diego Corrales was favored by most people to win that fight against Floyd Mayweather. So, and Floyd Mayweather fought him undefeated, no catch weights, none of that stuff. And Floyd massacred him. When you hear people say Floyd didn't talk like that, that usually be a lot of racists, like a bunch of racist white boys, a bunch of racist Mexicans, and some Filipinos that don't know shit about. But I don't even listen to Filipinos most of the time when they try to talk boxing because all they talk about is Manny Pacquiao, and they can't bring up nobody else. I don't even talk boxing with them. It's useless. Oh, hold on, E. Let me give you your wrench. And hold on, my boy from the town. Let me give him his wrench. Let me get. No, I'm just keeping it 100. Then the only people that say that stupid shit. The only people that say that stupid shit. Real talk. Like, look, I don't like Manny Pacquiao that much, but Manny Pacquiao is an exceptional fighter. And I would be lying if I say that he ain't a great fighter. Because if I say I have my issues with him, but I only fuck with Manny Pacquiao because I know it make his fans mad. But nah, Manny Pacquiao is an exceptional fighter. He really is. He really is though. I mean, I wish he would give up that WBA belt because he ain't trying to fight nobody. Manny Pacquiao is circling the wagon. He trying to find the easiest fight, a big payday with less risk. Now, now they saying, oh yeah, Zab Zuda too. Now, they saying that Mikey Garcia is on his way, but then they tried to say that he want Triple G to come down to 147. I don't want to see him fight Triple G looking like Triple G gonna be looking like Ethiopian of the year. Triple G gonna look like a leukemia patient. So nobody don't want to see no weight drained Triple G. Triple G can't even make 147. That just would be I don't even like Triple G. I don't even like Triple G at all, but I don't want to see nobody don't want to see Manny Pacquiao fight no weight drain Triple G at no 147. Man, Triple G gonna look like man, he gonna look like Ethiopian of the year, like Yuckmouth said. What's up? Body on for real, man. Nobody don't want to see that shit. Yeah, who no for real. Who gon' hey, you can count me out. If they make that fight and they say Triple G gotta come down to 147, count me out. Nah, Freddie Roach, and then some a lot of the other boxing outlets. I'm praying that Manny Pacquiao don't he better not do that to himself. He would be doing himself a disservice. People would be like, "Come on, Manny, you couldn't do nothing but criticize Manny Pacquiao if he tried to pull that shit." Triple G ain't never fought at 147 in his life. Well, he tried to do that. He tried to do that to Sergio Martinez. That's what I was saying. He tried to. He was supposed to fight Sergio Martinez, and he changed the weight like 4 times. First, they asked for. I think they asked him, could he do one. I think they asked him, could he do 154 or 152? He said, yeah. Then they said 150. And Sergio Martinez said, okay, I can make 150. Then they changed it to 148 and told him he couldn't rehydrate no more than like 3 pounds. So Sergio Martinez like, man, fuck y'all. he was like, he was like, man, fuck y'all. Y'all ain't trying to fight. Y'all capping. He was like, Sergio Bartu was like, man, y'all ain't trying to fight. Y'all capping, man. He said he'd take Triple G at 147. Like I said, who in the fuck want to see Triple G looking like a cancer patient? I mean, for real. I mean, if you gonna fight him, at least ask. Okay, if you gonna try to weight drain him, say, well, damn, let's do 157. I'm pretty sure Triple G will do 157. But man, you talked about what Triple G ain't never fought at 147 in his life. And Triple G is pretty big. I think Triple G walk around at 185 when he not fighting. Yeah, don't you remember how Oscar De La Hoya looked? Oscar De La Hoya, it was funny, man. When Oscar De La Hoya fought Manny Pacquiao, and Oscar had to come in at 147, he hadn't came in at 147 like in 10 years. When I say Oscar didn't have no gas in his tank, Oscar didn't have. I already knew Oscar was toast. Oscar didn't have no pop in his punch. He couldn't even. Oscar couldn't even get his hands up. Oscar couldn't even. Oscar was taking It was taking everything Oscar had just for him to try to throw punches. Versus Manny Pacquiao, I said this dude is toast. All right, you guys. Appreciate y'all listening. I'll be back. Nah, he didn't. All right, Marcus. All right, bro.